Back then, you, by contract, had to have a union producer.
Okay.
We were recording in our rehearsal studio using the record plant truck. And so, you know, the place was locked down. And to get to our office, you had to go through the live room where we were recording and everything. And so he had gone out to get coffee, and he didn't know that the red light was on because we didn't have a red light. Because like Brad said, we kind of covered it up. They didn't even put one up. So anyway, at that point, they knew better. But anyway, he walked in and slammed the door, and it was like, oh fuck. But it's a cool thing, and it's part of the song, you know.
It's part of the song. It's like, man, whose idea was that? You know, that's so cool. You know, talking about, like, you talked about dynamics, and dynamics don't exist. If you don't have air,
right,
you don't have a dynamic at all.
Right.
You know, so some of the more younger, more modern guitar players for the last, I don't know, 30 years, like kind of some of the shredders, I think, kind of as impressive as that kind of playing is, it's not a lot of, you know, it wasn't Eddie. You know, Eddie left spaces. Eddie created dynamics.
What did you think when you heard Eddie Van Halen?
Well, first of all, it was kind of annoying. It's like how the, you know, he didn't know what he was doing. I mean, we knew a little bit about it. I remember Bill Lawrence used to do the tapping when he'd sit and play for us.
Yeah.
But it was like, damn, he was on this stratosphere, like, you know, it was, you know, like the equivalent of Jeff Beck. You know, somebody was just kind of out of reach. I mean, and the more and more I listen to his stuff, it just blows my mind because it's so tasty. It's so, he didn't do any, there was nothing schlocky ever in it. And the power, like, when I read Alex's book, if you read that, you know, and then get an understanding how day in, day out, they would get up in the morning and go and play together till midday, every day. Yeah. And then, you know, you listen to these records and you hear the lock that those two guys had, and the power that that had. It was like, whoa, that's one of the most powerful bands I've ever heard. I mean,
They were
just...
That first record, when I heard that, it was like they used a lot of the old tricks that we all kind of like did it and left behind. They took it and turned it up to 11, you know, and that first album was fucking stunning. I mean, and Eddie and I remember when they were playing clubs, that he would turn around and do shit so people couldn't see what he was doing, you know, and though if people could see it, I don't think they could do it anyway, but because he was
Jeff
taking...
used to do that once in a while, remember?
Yeah. Who would do it?
Jeff Beck.
Oh, yeah.
In the early days.
I'd like to take a second to talk to you about this channel. This is actually Rick Beato 2. I've had it since the beginning of my main channel, and many of you are not subscribed. As a matter of fact, 87% of the people that watch this channel regularly are not subscribed. So I encourage you to hit the subscribe button on this channel and on my main channel. This will help me get even more of my dream guests and help continue to grow both channels. Thank you.
He had this one thing he would do, and then he would turn away just to annoy, you know.
Yeah.
Just to annoy the guitar players in the audience.
And he would do shit like, you know, stand there and everybody's talking. Every once in a while, he'd just do like just one little thing, like, how the fuck did he do that? Just to let everybody know. I mean, he might be playing average, just like fitting in with everybody, but then he'd just do something that would be like blow Eddie Van Halen away kind of thing, just for a second, just so you'd know who was the boss. You know, I mean, he had a sense of humor that was like, he was so dry, you know, and like really quiet, but man, he was so fucking funny. But and I'll tell you, there were times would be in the studio and would try and get him to play, and he wouldn't play. You know, he liked to do his solos and stuff when he had alone. You know, so you never. I the few times I was in a studio with him and he had a chance to lay something down, he said, "No, I'm not going to do it. I'll take it home and do it." You know, and but you know, I mean, to see him play, I still had trouble like believing that what's coming from this guy's hands is the same thing that's hitting my ears. You know, because his guitar, it wasn't like he was like I've got to play this kind of guitar. I've got a vintage blah blah blah. Anytime when we got to the point when we could get backstage and you know, meet him or something, every time I picked up one of his guitars, it was always like the newest. After he stopped playing the Les Pauls, and it was the newest Strat, you know, and nothing special about it. When I was fortunate enough to play after he passed away, and we were playing with the Vampires, and we did that little bit, to honor Jeff, and I got to play his number 3 guitar.
Yeah.
It was just like a custom shop. It had the latest noiseless pickups, had the standard whammy bar.
Yep.
And it was like, there's nothing special about this, you know. The only difference was he was using lighter strings because, you know, when you get older, your hands get fucked up. But I remember when he was playing back with Max with that band, I picked up his guitar. The action was kind of high, and the strings were like fucking railroad ties. Really? I mean, but I know kind of near the, you know, as later on he started going with a little lighter strings to make it easier on his hands.